Welcome back to your Year 7 lesson. Mr. Baines here again, and we are on Lesson 4. So we have compared the Normans and Romans in various ways in our previous 3 lessons. Today we are looking at religion. Today's driving question is, how different was the Roman religion to the Norman religion? Just like the other lessons, you're going to start with a knowledge quiz. Some of these questions are on previous lessons, so lessons 1, 2 and 3, and some of the questions are on what you've already learnt about both religions. So pause the video and go and revise the last few lessons plus your religion using this quiz. Off you go now. Brilliant job. We're going to look first at the Roman view on religion. Before Christianity, the Romans believed in many different gods and goddesses. They adopted many of the Greek gods and goddesses and based their beliefs on a series of myths and legends. The Romans believed in many different gods and goddesses. This is called polytheism. If the gods were angry, terrible things could happen. To keep the gods happy, animals were sacrificed or killed as offerings. Many people had shrines, which is a holy or sacred place designed for a specific god or goddess in their house, with a figure of their favourite god. They believed it was important to keep the gods happy with gifts and statues. The Romans celebrated special days for gods by holding festivals which included processions, like a parade, and parties. There were 32 Roman religion festivals in January alone. These festivals included horse racing in honour of Mars, and many others. People worshipped the gods in temples, which is a place of worship, where they made sacrifices of animals. Good example of these are bulls, sheep and pigs. And they also gave precious things, so they put jewellery in these temples. The Romans believed that blood sacrifices were the best way to communicate with the gods. Sheep were often sacrificed to Jupiter. Sometimes a temple was built to only worship one of the gods. A temple to all the gods was known as a pantheon. The Romans believed that your spirit or your soul went to the underworld when you died. To get there, the dead needed to cross the river Styx. The dead person's family would give them a coin to pay the ferryman, Charon. Here we have a few examples of Roman gods and goddesses. Jupiter was the king of all gods, as well as being god of the sky. Neptune was the god of the sea and earthquakes. Mars was the god of war, as well as being the farmer of Romulus and Remus, the founders of Rome. Finally, we have Minerva, the goddess of wisdom, intelligence and learning. There are lots of other gods. These are just an example. There is a video attached to the lesson that talks about the Roman gods. Now, Rome did not stay this way forever. As the Roman Empire got bigger and new lands and people were taken into, they conquered people and added their gods or religion to the Roman pantheon, which, just like the name of a temple, worshipping lots of gods, it is the name for all the Roman gods. One such religion was Christianity. Jesus was born in Palestine, which then was part of the Roman Empire. In about 26 AD, he began to preach, telling the people he was the Son of God. In around 29 AD, Jesus was sacrificed by the Romans for rebelling against Rome. He was crucified and his followers became known as Christians. Unlike in many other religions at the time, Christians talked about peace and forgiveness, not the usual anger and punishment from the Roman gods. Christians also believed in one God, which is known as monotheism. The idea of Christianity spread, and the organisation of the Roman Empire helped this in several ways. It was relatively easy to move around the empire. The Romans built excellent roads, which were safe from robbers. There were common languages in the empire, Latin and Greek being the main two. This made the spread of new ideas quick and easy. The Roman army was stationed all across the empire, which allowed Christianity to easily spread. It was not certain when Christianity was introduced to Britain, but it became increasingly popular among the elite in the 4th century, after the conversion of the Emperor Constantine in AD 312. Constantine made Christianity legal. Under his leadership, Christians would no longer be arrested just for being Christian. After a fairly short period of time, Christianity became the dominant religion of Rome. After that, it became the law that you must be a Christian to be a citizen of Rome. Now, the Normans were less complicated than the Romans when it comes to religion. The Normans were always Christian, unlike the Romans. Even during the Battle of Hastings, the Pope showed his loyal support to William of Normandy. This is important as the Pope was the head of the Christian Church. The medieval or Norman Church was really powerful. It owned a lot of land and controlled education and medicine for the poor. The Pope was the head of the Church. He was the most important man in all of Europe. Even kings were scared to disobey him. This was because they feared their souls would be sent to hell. Priests ran local churches. However, many priests could not read Latin, which was the main language of the church. Notice how one of the main languages of Rome was Latin. One of the main languages of the Normans was also Latin. So a massive similarity there. Now we're moving on to today's task. With task 1, think back to what I said about each of the gods and goddesses. Go to the task 1 on Google Docs. Pause this video and go and do the task now. Well done. Now on to task 2. Here you can see source A. Source A is a mosaic. The very wealthy owner of the villa at Hilton St Mary in Dorset was a Christian. The mosaic in the main roof of his house had this picture of the head of Christ. So this is Christ here, or Jesus, as well as she, Ru symbols. So she is the cross and Ru is this P here. She and Ru are the first 2 letters of the name Christ in the Greek alphabet. Here you can see the head of Christ. The X and the P are the name of Christ in the Greek alphabet. This was a mosaic on a Roman floor, which shows the owner had converted to Christianity. Now go to the Google Docs called Task 2. Brilliant. We are now on Task 3. It looks like this text here. All you have to do, put these words into the correct gaps. So these words go into these gaps. Pause the video and go to the Google Docs called Task 3. Fantastic. Now Task 4 will really help you with your exam question later. Go back over everything, watch the videos, read the sheets, watch this video again, or have a look at the PowerPoint. And in this table, you're looking for similarities. So when I mentioned earlier that Latin is the main language of both religions, that would be something that I put in both parts of the table. Remember, they both worship Christianity, so the similarities you're looking for are the Christianity parts of the Roman religion. So, having Jesus Christ, God, being monophysician, all those kind of things go in this table. The more information you put into this table, the easier the exam question will be. Off you go to Task 4 now. Great job. Now use what you've learned and put into that table and these sentence starters here to answer this exam question. Explain 2 ways in which the Roman and Norman religion were similar. So this exam question is a very similar structure to the one you did last week, but this time it's about religion. The more information you have here, the more information you can put into these sentence starters. Off you go and do the exam question now. Well done. Now, to show what you have learned during this lesson, give this exit ticket quiz a go. The aim is to beat the knowledge quiz at the start of the lesson. I'm so proud of the work you are doing. Next week we are moving on to revolts and how the Romans and Normans dealt with them. See you next week, Year 7. Well done. Keep up your good work.